Are you ready for a scorcher? Are you ready to explore the hottest place on Earth? Do you think you can handle Death Valley? If so, join me to explore a 2-day itinerary of this incredible national park. Hello, and welcome to Sarah's Scuba and Travel channel. And welcome to Death Valley. Death Valley is located in California along the border with Nevada. The closest airport is Las Vegas. It's about a 2-hour drive from Las Vegas, so I recommend planning your flights to arrive in the afternoon at the latest. I don't recommend traveling late at night as the route to Death Valley is quite remote at times, and you don't want to get caught in the dark in the desert with a car problem. You want to try to make sure that you arrive to the park at or close to around dusk. However, before leaving the Las Vegas area, I recommend stopping at a grocery store to stock up on snacks and gallon jugs of water after you pick up your rental car. You want to have at least 1 gallon per person in your group and carry filled containers with you in the car at all times. I recommend reserving accommodations within the park. The park is about twice the size of Delaware. You will do plenty of driving within the park. It is best to stay inside the park for easier access to the sites. The Furnace Creek area offers a few different lodging options. We stayed at the ranch at Death Valley, which is the site of the inn at Furnace Creek that opened in 1927 by the Pacific Coast Borax Company, as one of the first tourist attractions in the park. The rooms were pretty basic, but there were food options as well as a swimming pool. Regardless of where you stay, see if they have the Death Valley National Park newspaper available in the lobby. This newspaper contains important information about the park for the time of year you are visiting, as well as maps and information about the trails. You can also pick up materials in the Furnace Creek Visitor Center. You want to carry an up-to-date map with you at all times because GPS may not work in certain areas of the park. GPS may also try to navigate you to roads that are closed. If your car breaks down, stay with your vehicle and wait for assistance. Please do not try to walk to assistance. This is how people get into very serious danger. When we arrived at the park, there was not a toll booth collecting entrance fees. However, I recommend purchasing the America the Beautiful National Parks and Federal Recreation Lands Pass, especially if you have plans to visit other national parks. The pass is $80 and is good for a year from the month you purchased it. Technically, you will use it for 3 days or entries during this itinerary. Entrance into the park without the pass costs $30 per day for a vehicle. It is worth buying the pass as it covers a vehicle as well as the passengers. Go to bed early because you have a long first day ahead of you. Day 1 starts nice and early if you want to experience the beautiful sunrise at Dante's View. I'm talking about 4 a.m. early, but check the time of sunrise when you visit. You want to be there at least an hour or two before the sunrise time if you want to see the sky and scenery transform from pitch black to an array of colors. It will be cold at the top of the summit, so make sure you dress warm and take some extra layers with you. After sunrise, it is time to get some breakfast, so you have fuel for the long, active day ahead. If you decide to stay at the ranch, they do offer an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet. It is a little pricey, but we wanted to make sure we had plenty of food. We also took a few pieces of fruit and muffins with us for the day. Make sure your water bottles are full as well as the gallon containers you purchased. You want to carry these with you in your vehicle at all times. Put on your sunscreen, hat, and UV protective lightweight clothing. Good hiking boots and thick socks will also be important today. Once you are ready to head back out, navigate to 20 Mule Team Canyon. This is a short one-way scenic drive. The road is not paved and becomes quite an off-road adventure at times, so make sure your car is properly equipped. You want a vehicle with some undercarriage clearance. We were in a rental SUV without 4-wheel drive and did not have a problem navigating the terrain. You can make stops along the way to enjoy the quiet solitude of the canyon, as well as just take in the various colors and beauty. If you are a Star Wars fan, you might be interested to know that scenes from Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, were filmed here. Continue your off-road adventure through the canyon. When you make your way back to the main road, take a short drive over to Zabriskie Point. Make sure to take water with you and take the short climb to the top of the overlook. Here you will get beautiful views of the Badlands as well as the golden brown mudstone hills. The colors are amazing. This is another great place to view the sunrise and sunset. Once you are done, make your way down the hill and get rehydrated. There are bathrooms at this location, however, I warn you, they are a little primitive. These are not flush toilets. They are pretty much a hole in the ground with a toilet on top. Once you are refreshed from this location, you can choose to hike the Badlands Loop and possibly continue to Golden Canyon and Gower Gulch. Make sure you take plenty of water with you and stop in the shade as necessary. Death Valley is unforgiving, and you can quickly become dehydrated and get yourself into a dangerous situation. Plan and pack accordingly. I traveled around Badlands Loop, which allows you to walk between the mudstone hills. It was a very tranquil and humbling experience. Once you are done at Zabriskie Point, make your way to Furnace Creek Visitor Center. Here you will find full functioning flushable bathrooms, water refill stations, a small store for food and drinks, rangers available to answer questions, and a small educational exhibit and orientation movie. This is a great place to refresh in some air conditioning with running water. Don't forget to get your passport stamped during your visit. Fill up the gallon jugs of water if you have used any of your reserves this morning. If you are hungry, consider grabbing a sandwich or snack before heading out on your next adventure. There are also sandwiches and a wide variety of food items available at the general store at the ranch. You do not have to stay at the ranch to access the general store. This is also a great option for purchasing a quick lunch to go. Regardless of where you buy food, I recommend grabbing some energy drinks or electrolyte drinks and getting those in your system before continuing on for the rest of the day. Now that you are refreshed, head to Badwater Road. Our first stop is the Devil's Golf Course. Take your time on this road. It is quite rough. Anyone who owns a rental car company would cringe to know where we took our vehicle, and we are just getting started. Devil's Golf Course covers more than 200 square miles. The ground is crusted with various crystallized salt structures. This is actually the remains of the last lake that was located in Death Valley. The lake evaporated 2,000 years ago. You can walk off the parking lot into the rugged terrain. Just be careful not to get hurt or harm the structures. When we visited, someone had left a golf club, so you can stage your own photos at Devil's Golf Course. Next, slowly and carefully make your way back to the highway and head towards the Badwater Basin salt flats. Fill up your water bottles with the stored water in your gallon jugs and hike out to the salt flats. This is a 1-mile round-trip hike on flat surface. When planning your trip, take the time of year into consideration. In mid-May, the temperature was 110 degrees Fahrenheit midday. The salt flats are 282 feet below sea level, which is the lowest point in North America, not just the United States. 2,000 to 4,000 years ago, the basin was a 30-foot deep lake that evaporated, leaving a layer of salt behind. This salty lake was 4 times saltier than the ocean. There was a little pool of water present when we visited. It looks like the basin is a dry desert. However, there is water available just below the surface. The park asks that visitors stay on the trail to avoid damaging the salt flats and to protect the Badwater snails that live underneath the salt crust. Once you make your way out to the flats, you can take your pictures and then make your way back to the parking lot. This is a very hot hike, so continue to drink water and take your time. The heat in the park is a dry heat that sucks all of the moisture out of your body. You want to keep drinking as much water as possible. The park service recommends drinking at least a gallon of water a day to keep yourself hydrated. Once you make your way back to the parking lot, there are primitive bathrooms available at this site. Next stop is the Natural Bridge. This is a short 1-mile round-trip hike through uneven gravel surfaces. Take water with you and stay in the shade of the canyon as much as possible. Along the way, you will see evidence in the rocks of dried up waterfalls and whirlpools. Eventually, you will come to the Natural Bridge rock formation. Take your pictures, enjoy some time, especially spend some time in the shade, and then make your way back out to the car. The reason why Death Valley is so dry is because there are 4 mountain ranges between the park and the Pacific Ocean. Therefore, any moisture that has accumulated from the ocean hits each one of these ranges, dropping rain, snow, and hail. By the time the clouds and weather systems make their way to Death Valley, there's not any more moisture to drop. These mountains are also what traps the heat in the valley floor, which continues to radiate back to the valley due to the sparse vegetation in the area. Temperatures as high as 134 degrees Fahrenheit have been found in the Furnace Creek area. These are not conditions to play around with. Every summer, people lose their lives in the park trying to face these challenging conditions. Our last stop along the Badwater Road is the Artist's Drive. This is a scenic one-way, 9-mile drive where the various minerals in the rocks create a beautiful display of colors. The minerals are a result of a very explosive volcanic period in the park. As you make your way through windy, dippy dives, you will come to the Artist's Palette. Various greens, blues, purples, yellows, and reds paint the background of the hills, almost like the brushstrokes of a painter, which is how it got its name. Take time to stop and enjoy this location before continuing on your curvy, dippy drive back to the highway. You will continue to see various colors and beautiful views along the way. At this point, you will probably be very hot and tired. I recommend making your way back to your lodging accommodations. If there is a pool on site, I recommend taking a dip to cool off and refresh. The ranch has an 87-degree spring-fed pool that was very refreshing at this point in the day. Consider taking a little nap after your dip because there's still more to come on our itinerary for our first day. Once you're ready for dinner, enjoy dinner at your hotel or resort and then make the journey back to the top of Dante's View to watch the sunset. I know it is hard to think about cool weather when you're still facing temperatures in the 90s or 100s after dinner, but make sure you bring clothing for cooler weather with you. It will be chilly 5,000 feet above the valley floor at the top of Dante's View. This is a beautiful contrast to the sunrise you experienced this morning. You will be able to view the Badwater Basin below and see the hike to the salt flats that you did earlier in the day. Now that you have experienced the harshness of the basin, you appreciate the view a little bit more. At least I know I did. The sunset is beautiful as it sets over the mountains. You can stay up here for stargazing, but it will continue to get colder, so make sure you are prepared. It can also take some time for the sun to fully set behind the mountains. If you are interested in stargazing at a different location, make your way back to your accommodations. Once the sun has fully set, make your way to Harmony Borax Works. There aren't any lights at the site. Death Valley is an international dark sky park. Once you turn off your car lights, it will be pitch black. For me, it was an eerily dark experience and definitely something I am not used to. I can't say I enjoyed the darkness, knowing that there are various creatures like snakes, scorpions, spiders, and bobcats in the park. Unfortunately, we did not experience clear skies on our visit. However, we were able to experience patches of clear sky between the clouds. The amount of stars, even for this brief period, was amazing. This would be a great place to see the Milky Way on a clear night. After stargazing, head back to your lodge and get a good night's sleep because we have another busy day tomorrow. Day 2 for us started with visiting the outdoor part of the Borax Museum at the ranch. Even if you're not staying at the ranch, you can visit the museum. The outside area offers the opportunity for you to explore old mining machinery as well as the 20 mule teams that were used to transport borax out of the mines and 165 miles to the railroad in the Mojave Desert. The teams averaged about 2 miles per hour and took 30 days for a round trip. Before leaving the ranch, make sure you fill up all water bottles, including the gallon jugs, in your vehicle. From here, make the 20-mile journey to Stovepipe Wells area. You may need to stop for gas as well. There is a gas station located in the Furnace Creek area. The prices are higher than outside the park, but you don't really have any other options, so just fill up. The journey to Stovepipe Wells offers views very different than the ones experienced the day before. Once we got to the town, we had breakfast at the Toll Road restaurant, which offered a buffet for much less cost than the breakfast buffet at the ranch. After eating, we headed to Mosaic Canyon. This is a 1 mile to 4 mile hike. Make sure you take plenty of water with you and protect yourself from the sun. Only go as far as you want. This is a beautiful narrow canyon with polished marble walls. You will reach the polished marble walls within roughly the first half mile. If you continue past the polished marble area, you will walk through a canyon that eventually opens into a large basin area. We turned around at this point so we could continue to explore other parts of the park. There's a lot more to explore on this hike, but once you've had your fill, turn around and make your way back out through the canyon, including the marble-walled canyon, and then on your way out to the parking lot. This can be a strenuous hike, especially on a really hot day, which is pretty common in Death Valley. So take your time, enjoy the views, and safely make it back to your vehicle. If you need to use the restroom at this point, you can stop at the Stovepipe Wells General Store. This is also a great time to purchase any snacks or additional drinks you might want. From here, make a short drive to the Mesquite Flats sand dunes. These are 150-foot dunes that are surrounded by mountains on all sides. Death Valley really offers a lot of diversity. You are welcome to walk on the dunes and explore them at your own level of comfort. Make sure to take water with you if you plan to hike to the farther dunes. As a Florida girl, this reminded me of hiking out to the beach as a kid on very soft sand and feeling like the beach was so far away. Here you don't have a beach you're hiking towards, so it's just hiking in soft sand. You may find that you do not go as far as you originally thought you would, unless you really enjoy hiking in soft sand and not getting to a beach. Check out the small brush areas for various types of lizards as well. We found a few different species while we were visiting. Once you are done at the sand dunes, make the drive to Ubehebe Crater. You will come to a fork in the road. The crater is to your left about 7 to 8 miles down the road. This crater was formed by a steam explosion. Water suddenly flashed to steam, blowing the rock above it at speeds of up to 100 miles per hour, creating the 770-foot deep crater. It is quite a sight to see in person. You can actually hike down into the crater, but remember, you have to hike out. Make sure you take plenty of water with you. This is also a more remote area of the park, so if you have trouble, you may not see a lot of people around, including rangers, to assist you. Instead, you can hike the Ubehebe Crater Loop, which is 1.5 miles. Start with the uphill portion from the parking lot to get additional views of the crater. After about a half of a mile, you will see Little Hebe Crater. Once at Little Hebe, you can continue your hike or turn around and head back down to the parking area. As you return to the highway at the fork, Scotty's Castle is up the road towards your left. Scotty's Castle was closed at the time of our visit and has been closed since 2015 when flash floods damaged the road and the castle. There are limited tours available today with advanced reservation. If you want to visit this location, you may want to research this option before your visit to experience this 1920s historic site. Now make the journey back to the main exit of the park. On your way, you may see sand devils popping up in the desert. These are little wind tornadoes that form due to the dry, hot, windy conditions. If one happens to cross the highway in your path, you may get to experience the strength of these natural phenomena. We actually experienced this one crossing right over our vehicle once we exited the park. However, you will see them covering the valley on your drive to the exit. Before leaving the park, you may want to make a daytime stop at Harmony Borax Works. This is the site of the Harmony Borax mine that was opened in 1881 by William Tell Coleman. The mine employed 40 men and produced 3 tons of borax daily. The mine was decommissioned in 1881, only 5 years after production started, due to Coleman's financial empire collapsing. Death Valley was a booming area for gold, silver, and borax mining in the late 1800s. However, most of the mines had failed and were shut down by 1910. Do not enter any mines or caves you may find during your explorations of the park. They can become very unstable and put you in great danger. I also recommend stopping at the visitor center to use the restrooms and fill up on water. From here, we made our journey back to Las Vegas to stay the night before heading on to our next location. If you have more time to spend inside Death Valley, there are more sites to explore, like the Wild Rose charcoal kilns, Racetrack Playa with its sliding rocks, and various ghost towns. You won't be disappointed with the variety this park has to offer, but do not stay too long as the conditions can be quite brutal. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. If you would like to support future productions, you can buy me a snack using the link in the description below, or show your support with a super thanks donation. Don't forget to join the Facebook group and follow me on Instagram for more content.